Today we'll be making Twitter headers. All right, let's get this set up properly. Before we get into this video, if you guys have any further questions, I stream here on this channel Wednesday through Sunday, starting at 9 p.m. Central. If you have any further questions, you can come in and ask me, or you could find me on my Twitter, which will be in the description, or it will be right here, and I can answer questions at any time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. So the plan for today, we're going to be making Twitter headers because I feel like it's a very important thing of having a first impression, a very professional branding when it comes to your Twitter page, because if you have a meme, people are not going to look at you very serious. So I'm going to make a very quick video that's going to show my non-designers how to just make something very simple, very fundamentally sound, and something that can just start and kickstart their branding. Now here I have two simple things. I have a logo and I have a background image that I'm going to use instead of having a full background of texture, just because I feel like personally it looks a little bit better than me. Now I do understand that some people don't have logos, so I will show an alternative that you can do on that front, but for right now I'm gonna focus as if somebody does have a logo. If you don't have a logo, I do suggest trying to get a logo, or maybe even get a little bit of a typography, you know what I'm saying, like a little 3D effect. Just give yourself something to work with that makes your life a lot easier, especially when it comes to branding, because that is the core of branding, is a logo. Now personally, I'm just gonna use my own colors when it comes to this video. So I will grab my infrared and I'm just gonna slap that on the background. Now, like I said, this video is gonna be very long. I'm not gonna be showing you how to do a very complicated header design here, because I know the audience that I am teaching is non-designer. So I wanna keep it as simple and plain as possible, but still I want it to be nice. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this rectangle in the back, and I'm also going to have my logo here out big in front. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower it some. Now here you can see these little lines that helps me guide. It shows me where the very middle of the whole entire canvas is. Now if you want to use something like that, it's very, very helpful. So you don't have to do it by eye, things can be off. If you go to view and you go down to extras, if you go to show and then you go to smart guides, make sure the check mark on the left side of it is on, and it will show you where everything is. Now, so I'm gonna keep my logo in the middle. Now another good thing to always have on your Twitter banners would be other socials. So here I'm gonna go into my asset pack that I collabed on with my boy PJ, which will also be down in the description. It has a lot of things in it. We'll get to that later in the video. But right here, I will be, let's say I'm gonna grab my YouTube, so I can just select that, slap that in here. Then as well, let's just say we'll grab my Twitch. So then we will slap that on there as well. And then usually I like making sure they're both the same size. The YouTube logo is a little bit bigger, so I'll probably just leave them together. And usually I select both of them, then I just downsize them at the same time, so they're around the same size. Won't be too complicated. Now one thing you can do is, if you happen to have the same social tag on both of your social medias, it makes your life a lot easier. You can just put one name and you have both of them out to the side, and I just so happen to do so. I'm going to make both of these white. I'll double click, go to color overlay, and then I will put it on white, and I'll do that for both of these so they are matching. Now as you can see, the YouTube logo is a little bit bigger. That's what she said. So I will make the Twitch one a little bit longer. As you can see, it has the 3 guidelines on it, so we are good. We'll say though, I would prefer it to be a little bit smaller. So then you come out to the side. You can choose the font of your choice. I'm gonna go with something very, very smooth. I'll actually go with Apex MK2. Choose white. Then I'll downsize it to the proper sizing. That looks like that could be actually good right there. Type out my name. You know, you can throw some italics on it if you want to make it look a little bit more fancy. I personally like italics. It's just hard to, you know, format certain things with italics. We can center it both. Now, if you want to have something that distinguishes both, you can even try and change your text to a black color, which kind of makes things a little bit different. See, there you go. Another thing you could put out to the side, I say, would be a title. So I would classify myself as a graphic designer and content creator. So you could then go out to the side, graphic designer. They can put content creator. Have one black, have one that's white, so you have something that's a little bit different. Center this. So I would rather have one be longer than the other one, so I'm going to come to my character here and widen the spaces in between each letter a little bit more, and then I'll tighten this one up a little bit. There we go. You can even put like a ruler in the middle and make sure everything is somewhat centered. Now keep in mind, in this general area here that I'm circling with my mouse, that will be covered by a profile picture, so you don't want to put anything very important in the bottom left corner on majority of your Twitter banners. So now that we have the simple things, we have my social, we have my logo, and we have what I am so people know, I'll go back and I'll grab this picture. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag it to the right side. One thing I always do whenever I want to blend an image into the background, I always make sure I desaturate it first so it blends easier to whatever color it is that's in the background. So I will do Control Shift U. Oh wait, I have to rasterize it. Control Shift U, desaturate it, and then usually I go to multiply works sometimes. You can either do kind of play around with these here, being that you can preview all of them. I think multiply is going to work the best in this certain situation because I want it to be darker, not lighter. So we can go to multiply, and you can see how it's very dark. It makes all the blacks and the shadows much darker on this background, but of course I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to lower the opacity. So I will leave it at 30, but I'm going to play with the curves just a little bit to try and get some of the more white to stick out. There you go. Doing this, it can show you more details. So you can tell it's more of a picture. The one thing I usually do is you can just use a clipping mask. If you see down here at the very bottom, in between a half circle and FX, there's a box with a circle in the middle. If you click on that and then go to your brushes, you could just pretty much color it away instead of erasing it. So that's what I'm going to do. Color just so some of it is gone. There you go, it just sits in the background. There you go, and then I'm gonna go back to this asset pack and I'm gonna grab an overlay to add some texture to the background. Here you go, I'm gonna grab this one, then I'll duplicate it onto our document. So now it's here, and I can move it around. I can give the other side of this banner some texture. Size it properly, and then here we go, right back to what we did before. What is that? Subtract. Okay, so I put this on subtract, lower the opacity some, find out what makes it sit in the background. As you can see, if I zoom in here, click off, just one solid color, gives it a little bit more depth. And then here you go, boom. That is a very simple Twitter banner just to get your branding, you know what I'm saying, a little bit up off the ground, and here to give you a little bit of a better representation. Now we're going to move on to the alternative if you do not have a logo, and I'll show you what you can do with that. Okay, so picking back up where we just were, I'm going to now do the alternative for my people out there who do not have an official logo and they can only use text. So if you wanted to only use text, I'm going to go ahead and hide all the other text, as long as my socials and of course my logo. So I'll keep the background the same. So only thing I did with the background was I added an overlay from the asset pack that I have down in the description, and then I have just a simple picture of myself that I took a while ago, imported it onto my computer, just threw it in the background just so there's a picture there. It gives it more to look at than just a blank canvas. So I'm going to use more of a title font, and then I'm going to type it out. I'll be using more of a wider font. I'll also take italicizing off so that I'm upscale it pretty big to where it's nice and in the center. Now one easy thing you can do, you can add a little gradient to it to just give it a little bit more depth. You can even go in and add a little bit of a drop shadow just so it even seems a little bit more 3D than what it is. Now you can play with the distance and the size and the opacity for how long you want to do. I'm gonna let it sit there so it looks a little bit more 3D. It looks like it's sitting up on the canvas, not on the canvas. Okay, so now we have that. Now one simple thing, we can take the previous titles that we actually had and we can still plug them in underneath this one. So I'll be going to another layer, going back to my same Apex font, then I will type in content creator and graphic designer. Now this is one long title. We can actually divide this just a little bit so it extends a little bit longer than the actual title itself, which I think personally looks cleaner. That we can give it a little bit of room, and you can even make one darker black, which if you wanted to emphasize one, you can use that during color. I'm more of a graphic designer than I am a content creator, so I'm going to emphasize on graphic designer because that's what I want people's eyes to attract to. It's being that it's a different color, so it stands out besides everything else in this banner. So I'm going to leave that there. Then we are going to take the same socials that we had before, and then we can honestly just move it underneath. Okay, so right now you have everything. You have your name / branding, you have your title, as well as your socials. That is the main thing you want to have in your banner for the first representation. You want somebody to be able to know who you are, what you do, and where else they can find you. So that's the main thing that we got here. And with the second alternative, that's exactly what we have. And like I said, it was a nice short and sweet video. Hope you guys have a fun time branding yourselves. If you have any questions, you can ask me down in the comments. I will see you guys next time.